Welcome to the Rotary Big Ideas podcast, where we celebrate big ideas that are sparking positive change in Ottawa and around the world. I'm your host, Bashir Bastien, and on each episode, we meet a change maker and a big idea. I am speaking with Graeme Fraser, past president, incoming district governor, member of the Rotary Club of West Ottawa. Graeme, what is your big idea?
Well, Bashir, I've been a Rotarian since 1989, and I love Rotary. I love what Rotary does, but we don't tell an awful lot of people about it. And I think that once people understood what Rotary's all about, they would be knocking on the door and saying, I want to be part of this. Rotary, to me, among other things, is fun. A lot of my best friends are Rotarians, and it's because of my association with the club and with Rotary in general that these friendships have developed. Well, the big idea, I guess, would be to share with the world and share with the people in Ottawa of the work that we're doing. For example, not a lot of people are aware that there are 4 large projects that Rotary has been involved in and still involved in, including Rotel, which is a Rotary hotel beside CHEO. There's also the Rotary Home, which is a respite for kids that have physical challenges. There's the Park for Kids of All Abilities at Brewer Park, which is meant as a park for kids that whether they're fully able or whether they're blind or deaf or physically challenged, they can all play together. And then the final one is the Field of Dreams, which is in Orleans. And it's a baseball diamond that allows kids that, again, are physically challenged to enjoy the game of baseball in a surrounding that is safe for them. So we don't let the world know the things that we do. Those are just four examples of some of the great work that I think that we're doing in Ottawa.
Okay, I think I'm fairly new to the Rotary, and I did not know about these activities. And I can tell you bringing these ideas forward will actually make people want to join the club. So, what do you think would be the biggest challenge that you would face in trying to convince people to be part of this club?
I think it's a matter of getting the information in front of people. We have so many ways of getting information. People look at Facebook, they look at news in different ways now. So we somehow have to be able to share this information. We're doing that through Facebook. We do it through LinkedIn and Instagram. We're developing, in fact, fine-tuning our website, which summarizes the work that's done in Ottawa, rotaryinottawa.ca or .com or .cool will take you to the same spot. And if you look at collectively what the clubs are doing, to me, it's awe-inspiring. And I think other people would feel the same. So the big idea is to somehow spread the word. A lot of it is just one-on-one, that we should go up to people, friends and family, or if you're in some sort of social gathering, and talk about Rotary.
That is interesting. You get to tell people, okay, this is what we're doing. Okay, people get excited. Okay, yes, I want to be part of this. And they join the club. So when they become part of this, how do you make sure, you retain them? How do you make sure you keep them engaged in the club?
Well, Bashir, you've touched on really the key. In some cases, it's easier to bring people into the club and harder to make sure that they stay. We have to make sure that they feel that they're an integral part of the organization, that they're engaged. And that's the key word really, is engagement, that they're active, that they're able to meet the other members, that they feel that they are giving back to the community. Because when we're doing the work in various organizations or various projects, you start building these bonds. And we might have been cleaning up garbage in a park, for example, but you get chatting and you build these relationships. So the engagement part is very important.
I like that you mentioned relationship. And to be honest, when I first came to Ottawa myself, the first thing I did, I contacted the Rotary Club of Ottawa and I met a lot of interesting people. So I love the idea of relationship and bonding. We are social beings. We want to be amongst people. We want to be around people. But do you also think that the fact that the Rotary does not work as a top-down club, so basically a single member can come up with their own projects. So do you think that can help create engagement as well?
Well, you've really touched on something. I mean, there's over 1,200,000 Rotarians around the world. And there is an organization of Rotary International, which is based in Evanston, Illinois, which gives us really the framework. But a club, all the work that we do, it starts with the members, and we are very much bottom up. So if you had a big idea, then it could be presented to the club and it may be embraced and it may move forward. The ideas don't come necessarily from Rotary International itself. It comes from the club. And that's where the work is done. Rotary International recognizes that and encourages and embraces change. If we don't make these changes, Rotary itself will not thrive in the same way that it has. So it's important that we bring these people in, we allow them to present ideas and become part of whatever they're presenting.
Thank you. That's awesome. So if you were to summarize your big idea, let's say in 3 to 5 words, what would be those 3 words?
Well, Bashir, I think I'll use 4. Have fun in Rotary. The beauty of Rotary is that we're making a difference in the world, both locally and internationally. But I think one of the keys is that we're having fun when we're doing this. That's why I've stayed in Rotary, because I'm very fond of the people that I associate with. I am so proud of the changes that we make and that we're impacting people's lives. But also we're having a lot of fun. There's a lot of work involved, but the fun part of it to me is key. If you're not having fun, you can find other ways to give back. That's why I'm in Rotary.
I like the emphasis on fun because personally, because a lot of my friends, like my age, I'm a millennial. When I tell them I'm in the Rotary, they see the Rotary Club as a place where old people, maybe rich people gather, and then they don't see the fun in it. And some of them be like, "What are you doing there? Why?" So I love the idea that you want to let them know this can also be fun. I'd like to ask you, because you mentioned earlier that you build relationships. So for someone who said, you know what, I am on the fence. I heard about the Rotary. I want to be part of this. But do you have a story in 1 to 2 minutes? If you don't have one, that's fine. Something that kind of changed you in that made you want to be part of this, that you could share with someone and make them want to be part of this.
My story is a little bit different than a lot of the others because I grew up as a Rotary kid. My father was a Rotarian until he passed away at the age of 98, and he was still active. So it was easier for me. But before I joined, there was a fictitious member that was developed. This fellow was on our books, but they never told the treasurer about it. This fellow, Henry Sim, never paid dues. He never actually attended a meeting because he didn't exist. But the treasurer didn't know this. And so for several months, he would say, I need to see this Henry Sim because he hasn't paid his dues. And they say, oh, well, that's too bad. You weren't here last week. He was in attendance. And this went on for quite a while. And there was a great story behind the infamous Henry Sim, where he grew up, his different careers and so on. But it got to the point where Henry passed away, and the people in the know, well, they thought this was funny because he didn't actually exist. But if you had new members or a guest and they mentioned that Henry had passed away in the horrible way that he might have died, everyone else would laugh, and they would wonder, what kind of a club is this that would laugh at this person's poor fate? That's just one of the examples of having fun in Rotary. Just a little bit of nonsense, as long as it's harmless and it doesn't pick on people, I'm in favor of it.
Now, that's a beautiful story. I'm sorry if I was laughing. I know Sam never existed. So for those of you who look at me laughing, that is a very interesting story. And then story. So to be honest, if I heard this, I'm like, okay, that's a place I want to be. Thank you for sharing this story with me. So we need to ask a couple more questions before we wind up. Obviously, we're going to implement those ideas to make the club more fun. But what would be your key success measures? How would you know you've achieved success?
Well, in terms of the big ideas, what we're looking at is attracting and engaging members. So part of it is numbers. If the clubs are growing, that means that we're attracting people. They're coming in. But as long as those numbers continue to grow, to me, that means that we're doing something right, that people want to stay with the club. They want to be involved. They want to be connected with the other Rotarians. I think that's the big way to measure this. At the same time, we would be doing an awful lot of good in the community. And we do it locally, internationally, whether we're helping out food banks or we're helping mothers overseas. If we're helping the environment, we do an awful lot of work there, or helping in terms of conflict management. It's incredible the things that Rotary touches on. So in summary, really, if we've got these new members coming in, they feel that there's real value in staying as a member and they're involved. If everybody gives a little bit, we can make a huge difference. You know what, Bashir? There's one other thing that I wanted to touch on. And I'm very proud to be part of an organization that is instrumental in helping to eradicate polio in the world. A lot of us don't even know about polio because it's been gone from North America for years and years. But we need to eradicate it further, to really just kick it to the curb. And we're very close. And Rotary has raised to date close to $1 billion in this fight. We're down to mainly two countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan. And it's a tough slog to get the vaccine in at least twice to a lot of these kids. And so Rotarians are committed that we aren't going to stop until polio is gone. That's another good reason to be a Rotarian.
That is awe-inspiring. You said close to $1 billion. That is a huge number. Thank you for sharing all of this with us. I don't know if you have any message you'd like to leave the audience with.
Well, I'd love to chat with people, and I know that there are many members in our various Rotary clubs that would love to chat with people that are curious about Rotary and see if it's something that they would like to be involved in, whether as a full Rotarian or to help us in the work that we do. We would certainly welcome those conversations. Thank you, Bashir.
Thank you so much, Graeme Fraser, for being part of this. We enjoyed having you, and hopefully we'll get to hear from you again.
You bet. Thanks.
Thank you for listening and watching. And keep in mind, if you want to make a difference or have a big idea to help others, Rotary is a great organization to connect with and become part of. Check us out. Until next time, then, when I ask, what's your big idea?